Alright, so I wanted to go to bed, but I'm addicted to code, so we're not going to bed yet. We're actually gonna do some more coding. And okay, so as I stated in the last video, we're actually gonna start now with this with the section model, and this is gonna be an interesting one because the section model is actually gonna be a child to courses, and yeah, so it's gonna be cool. So let's create a new file inside the section model, and we're gonna call this section model dot section model, and under there import fluent final class. This is going to be model. Under there we're actually going to create an extension again. Extension is going to be section model. Oh, wait a second, I forgot to give the name. Final class section model. Okay, so the whole idea about the section model, it actually divides up a course in multiple sections. So if I have like a really big course, we're gonna need like different sections. I'm gonna do it a little bit different because sometimes I don't need sections. I have a course of 20 videos. So maybe we're actually gonna do it like this, that the course model can have a section model as a child or a video model. So this means that a course doesn't always have sections, but it can also have only have videos. I'm not sure yet how we're gonna do that, but it's gonna be really cool. A lot of code that I've been doing here now is all on the fly, because I believe that is how coding works. I don't have like a different thing here. Here I can show you. Let me see if I can show you my laptop really quick. As you can see over there, I don't have like a template. I'm just coding everything as it is right now. And yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Okay. So we go to fieldkeys.swift. Under there, we're going to do extension. Extension is going to be section model. Section model mark section model field keys. Under there, struct field keys. And the first one is going to be title. So static var title is equal to field key. This is going to be title. Static var. After that, it's going to be section role. And the section role is section role is actually something else, because I actually want to give the section role like its own naming scheme. So this means sometimes when I create a course, or when I look at other developers who create courses, they actually have like this. They use like instead of section 1, section 2, they can say chapter 1, chapter 2, or they can say like week 1, week 2. And I actually found that really interesting. So yeah, that's why we're going to implement something like that as well. So section role videos, we don't need videos because it's a child. And publish date, yeah, publish date we need. So publish date or field key, publish date, and the is published, we're actually going to change that to content role. So that is I think content state, I'm sorry, field key, because we actually, when we have an editor present, we're actually going to work with the state instead of the is published. Content state, I'm sorry. Okay. And yeah, for the sections, I don't really think we need created at and updated at, but let's just add it, created at, and this is going to be field key created add and static var updated add field key. And what we're actually going to do, we're actually going to add one more, and that's going to be publish date. So static var our publish date we already have, and yeah, so that's perfect. Okay, so we go to our enums, and inside the enum folder we're actually going to create a new file, and this is going to be called the section role. So in the section role we're actually going to do an enum, as always, section role, and this is going to be string and equatable, and in here case the section role, let's say chapter, case section, case week. Okay, and do we need a fourth one? So we have chapter, section, week, and do we have something else? Yeah, I think these are the only three that I'm actually going to use, I think. Yeah, let's keep it at 3 at the moment, and if we need more we can add it whenever we want. So let's go to section model under here. Oh, first we need our mark, and it's going to be database schema, and under there mark variables. So at id var id is equal to uuid question mark at field key field keys dot title var title is equal to string. And the whole idea about the section model is actually it needs a title, so we're actually not gonna change that. So we actually don't make that an optional. We actually that's a value that we actually need. So this is going to be field keys dot then we have section role var section role is section role at field, and we have key field keys dot created at var created at, it's going to be date. And the whole idea about created at again is it's actually automatically filled in, but we're going to give it a value anyway. Oh, then we need key field keys dot updated at, it's going to be var updated at, it's going to be date at field, there's going to be key, and the key is going to be field keys dot. Okay, and that's going to be the content state. Then we have var content state, this is going to be content state. So if it's a draft, if it's published, and so on and so on. Field, and I think this is going to be the last one. Field keys dot key field keys dot let me see, publish date var publish date is equal to date, and this man will make an optional. Okay, so I just thought about it. We can actually make this a little bit differently if we wanted it to. We're not going to change it anymore, but I was actually thinking what is also an idea is if we create like a new model with the children of publish date, and that we actually add the articles, courses, sections to one model, and one listener function keeps checking the model every minute or every second, doesn't matter. And No. We're not gonna do that. So let's go into our initializer. It's gonna be UUID. UUID is equal to nil, comma, title is gonna be string, section role, gonna be section role. Now we have created at. It's gonna be date. Then we have updated at. It's gonna be date. Then we have content state. It's gonna be content state. Last but not least is publish date. And this is gonna be date. And the publish date is an optional. So self.id is equal to id. Self.title is equal to title. Self.section role is equal to section role. Self.created at is equal to created at. Then we have self.updated at is equal to updated at. Then we have self.content state is going to be content state. And last but not least, it's going to be publish date is equal to publish date. Okay, so now we also need the parent, and the parent is going to be course model. Let me check this really quick. Yes. So inside the field keys, we're actually going to create a new one, static var, and it's going to be course, field key, course. Go back to section. And then under the publish date, we're actually going to do add parent key. Right? It was key, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And then we have field keys dot course. That's going to be var course is equal to course model. Then in the initializer, we're going to do course is going to be equal to course model. And under there, self dot course dot id is equal to course. Okay, I'm not sure if we also initialized this in here. Yes, we did. Okay, I just wanted to be sure. So then we go to course model, and under there for add children for dash dot dollar backslash dot dollar sign course for sections. No, wait a second. I think I made a mistake here. Let me check this really quick. Category model, children, courses. Ah, okay. Yes, I see it. Sorry. So this is not courses. This has to be sections. Sections. For sections is going to be section model. And as always, children, we don't need to initialize. Perfect. Pretty cool. So we also have the section model. Perfect. Then we have the video model. Okay, so the video model is actually a little bit, let me see. So the description we don't really need actually, I think. Length. I don't think we need length as well, because otherwise I have to fill it in myself. URL we need. Oh, go away. Go away. So, not needed. URL created that. Description we also don't need. Needed. And parent ID we're actually going to change to section. Content state. Instructor, article content. Yeah, the article on content, we actually don't need this as well. Because we're not gonna add article information or written information to the video, I think. So yeah, okay. let's create it. So let's go to our video model, so lecture model. Let's change this to, yeah, we're gonna keep this a lecture model. I think that's actually, that is better to describe it. And now I understand why I called it lecture model. We actually need the article content just in case it's not a video, but it's like a written lecture. So in here, we're actually going to create a new file, and the new file is going to be lecture model.swift import fluent final class lecture model of model, and under then an extension of lecture model, and this is going to be content. Okay, so first we're going to add a static let. Let's first add our comment. So mark database scheme or schema, and then static let schema is equal to database schemas, that's this one, dot lectures dot raw value. Hey, raw value mark variables. Okay, so let's go to our field keys file, and we have to create our field keys. So extension of lecture model, extension lecture model mark lecture model field keys. Pretty cool. And under there, struct field keys, and then we have static var title, and this is going to be a field key. This is going to be title static var length. We don't need. We're gonna URL. Let's change URL to MP4 URL, because that way we actually know that we have to expect an MP4. As I stated before, I actually, when I code, I like to be declarable as possible. I really think it's important that you work like this. Static var created at, gonna be field key created at, hey, static var updated at, and there's going to be a field key as well. Field key updated at static var. Then we have content state field key, content state static var, and the content state. After that we have the publish date, in case we want to publish it. Field key. Then we have publish date static var instructor. Yeah, the instructor we actually don't really need on the video model, because we put instructor. If I'm not mistaken, we can actually better put that on the course and on the course model, because this way we're actually going to save the instructor multiple times to the database, and that is space. What we can actually do, we can actually create a SQL query where we actually filter the parent ID of the lecture, and that way we actually retrieve the instructor. So we're not going to store instructor. We're going to do static var article content. We can make content. Instead of article content, we just don't need it. And we're going to call this content. And I see We made a writing error over there. That has to be content with a T, not a D. And what do we have more? Description we don't need, and parent ID we also don't need. Okay, so this is perfect. This is finished. So we go to lecture model. Under there, we're gonna start ID for ID is equal to UUID is an optional. Add field key, and the first one is going to be title. Oh, key, that's going to be field keys dot title. For title is equal to string. Okay, so to create a lecture model, we actually, what we're going to do here? Let me think really quick. Yeah, you know what? We're going to make this an optional because I want to create, maybe I want to create all the all my lectures already in the front, and I just don't want to give it like a thingy. How do you call it? I don't want to give it like content yet, but I want to create them. So MPV for URL is equal to field keys dot. No. This is a URL. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make that an optional as well. Even pauze. 3, 2, 1. And this is going to be field keys dot it's created at for created at. This is going to be a date. We can make those optional as well because yeah, optional, we don't need to make them optionals. I'm sure, as you can see, sometimes I make them optional, sometimes I don't. This is just because sometimes I forget that we don't need them, and we don't need to make them optionals because they will be updated by us by the backend itself. So there is always a value, and it always expects a value. Updated at. So this way, the user or the admin or the instructor, he doesn't need to make like a new system for that, or he doesn't need to make the information himself because the backend fills that in. Then we have publish date for publish date at field key. There's one thing I actually want to tell you about the API which we are building. The Alloy API is actually also part of my new company, which is called TeacherNot. And the whole idea about TeacherNot is that you can set up your own learning platform by one click of a button. And how this works is you register on my website. The website is not online yet, I'm still building it. And you can actually start like by creating a new API. And it means that this Alloy API is actually launched in its own little sandbox. And that way, you can actually do the same, which I can do with Devscorch with this system. And it's actually going to be really, really cool. In a future video, I will actually explain the rest, but not at the moment because we're coding. Let me check really quick. So instructor we didn't need. Article content we have. Publish date. Okay, perfect. So one thing we need is the parent. And the parent is, let's check really quick the field keys because I think we didn't create that one. No, we didn't. So under there, static var, there's going to be a lecture, field key, lecture. Now, but the whole idea about TeacherNot, and that's also with the Alloy API, the Alloy API is going to be at the heart of it. So that means that every time when a new user registers, they can actually create a new their own learning platform, and they actually launch a new API. And this API is going to be launched automatically, and you can see all the information. You can connect it to your own website or to your own applications, and so on and so on. It's going to be really cool. I actually already have a few people who are interested in joining. And it's going to be really cool. I hope to launch it in 2023 when I have time, but probably it's going to be a pain in the ass. So for our lecture, this is going to be a lecture model. So that means, oh, wait a second. This has to be, wait a second, I'm working in lecture. What? Oh, we have to delete this one. I'm working in the wrong thingy. And really sorry. No, we're working in a great one. I'm sorry. It's because I'm talking about TeacherNot, but I forgot what we're doing. So lecture actually has to be section. And we're going to change section here as well. And then we go back to lecture. That is now okay. And now we go to section model really quick. And under there, we're actually going to add children for \$ lectures. And that's going to be var lectures. It's going to be lecture model. Perfect. Okay. And as always, we don't need to initialize it. So after that, we go back to our lecture. In here, we're actually going to create an empty init, as always. Under there, we're going to create a filter init, and in there, ID is equal to UUID equal to nil. After that, title is going to be string. And after that, it's going to be mp4 URL. This is going to be a URL. There's also going to be an optional created at. It's going to be date. Then we have updated at. It's going to be date. And after that, we have publish date. It's going to be date. And the publish date, okay. After that, content state is going to be content state. And last but not least, it's going to be, oh, wait a second. Field key, this has to be section. We have to change this really quick. And then we have var section. It's going to be section model. Section model. And under there, we can actually call section of section model. Perfect. And then self.id is equal to ID. Self.title is equal to title. Self.mp4 is equal to mp4. Equal to mp4 URL. Self.created at is equal to created at. Self.updated at is equal to updated at. Self.publish date is equal to publish date. Self.content state is content state is equal to content state. Did we forget something? Yes, we forgot to add in content into initializer. So content is equal to string question mark. And then we have content is equal to content. And last but not least, self $, section.id is equal to section. Yes. So we actually finished 2 models in this video. We finished the lecture model and we finished the section model. Pretty cool. And we actually added the child relations already. So that means the moment when this is all running, we actually know we have the childs finished as well. Okay, so we already decided not to do the podcast and also not the tutorial model. But on the other hand, the tutorial model will be really easy for us to use, but we will decide this in the next video. I don't know yet. But till now, we actually wrote a lot of code, a lot of the same. I know it's a little bit boring, but this is actually a great way of learning how to code a real project. And I'm sure in the future videos, you're actually going to see me make mistakes. Stuff is going to crash a lot. And I'm sure when we're going to run this the first time, it's actually going to throw a lot of errors as well. So it's going to be really fun. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you like this video series till now, please give me a thumbs up and maybe leave a comment. And if you don't like it, leave a comment and leave a thumbs down. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. I would like to grow past 1,000 users. And yeah, let's see if we can help each other. So I teach you how to do it and you help me by getting me followers. All right, so thank you for watching and I see you next time.